Hi, this is Zach May with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Monday, the 11th of November. Starting with the FTSE 100, which has just managed to dig itself out of trouble from below the 200-day moving average there at 1895 or above that. We need an end-of-day close above that. And back in that rising trend channel from this time last year around current levels. RSI still well below the 50 level, but it has bounced twice in the mid-30s. That might mean something. Initial target, if we can get through the floor of that channel at around 81.30, would be back up to the 50-day moving average once again, third time in the last month at 82.50. Moving along to the DAX, and here picture has been better than the FTSE, although not much, very difficult to do that. Here you can see that we're having another go at that October resistance line there. That's at 19,500. Above that, looking for as high as 20,500 by the end of this month. Good that we've had multiple bounces at and just below the 50-day moving average there at 19,000. And good that we've also had an RSI rebound at neutral 50 today and going along from Friday. And that is it tends to be a leading indicator on the upside, as obviously it's worked so far today. But end of day close above 19,500. What we're looking for, what we don't want to see, is an end of day close back below the 50-day moving average, which hopefully we won't get, given that the RSI is now well above 50 at 54. Moving on to the Dow, which is obviously enjoying itself with the Trump trade, and as we saw yesterday in the weekend review, looking for 45,000 while we're above the top of the channel there, the one-year trend channel, 43,700. Worst case at the moment, I suppose, is now back down towards the top of the gap there, 42,800. And ideally, we manage to stay above the 50-day line, whatever happens, currently at 42,000. Moving along to Bitcoin, which I suppose is certainly the star of the show at the moment, and quite a relief, I think, for many. Here you can see that we had our initial target there, the June resistance line there at 75,000. We had a little bull flag above it, which was very impressive. And the whole rally started with that RSI rebound at neutral 50 near the 70,000 mark. So that worked rather well. We're looking for up to 87,000 by the end of this month. And the way things are going, we might get there much quicker than that, especially if we can stay above 80,000 on an end-of-day close basis. Ideally, there's no break back below 75,000. If you miss the move, then probably any dips to 75,000 would be regarded as buying opportunities. But the logjam at Bitcoin looks as though it's finally broken. Moving on to gold, and here not quite so exciting. Looks like people are switching from from gold to Bitcoin rather. And here, rising trend channel based at the 50-day line, 2055. Above that, still looking for up to 2840 by the end of next month. But the price action so far, with the failure at the old neckline support there, 2724, looking a little bit weak. The worst case at the moment is we've got to retest 2620 and the October support. RSI's failed at neutral 50, which is also not a great look, and that could be a leading indicator, at least on a move down to the 50-day moving average. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with a very bright situation, which is Aquis, and here, after years of maybe not being quite as exciting as it could have been, there's been an offer for the company, and you can see that in terms of the price action, what's interesting is that we had an unfilled gap to the upside back in, the end of last month, in fact, and that tends to be a leading indicator on the upside, unfilled gap off the lows, and also we had bullish divergence on that last dip down towards the £3 area. So maybe one or two people successfully guessed, on the basis of the technicals, of course, that this stock was going up. We also had decent candles going into the news today, apart from obviously that slight dip on Friday. Moving on to a stock which is hopefully going to benefit from, or is already benefiting from, the rise in crypto. We've seen this before with Coinsilium bouncing off a rising 50-day moving average there at 1.65. Main resistance here at 2.25 pence. If we can break through that, then we would be looking for 3.8 pence by the end of next month. Presumably by that time, Bitcoin could be rather nearer to $100,000 than it is now. On to Dekel. Well, it's all about palm oil and cashews, but here you can see that today's update taken very well, and what's actually pretty good as well is the way that we've got the 50 and 200 day lines both rising at the moment. Broken recent resistance at 1.4 pence, and that suggests that we could get up to 1.9 pence as soon as the end of this month. First proper rally for a long time here, off the back of a rising trend channel base, which tends to be good when you've got extra signals like the unfilled gap to the upside we had back in August, and rising 50 and 200 day lines. Bit of Trump tradeology coming up now with Eurasia, which is edging higher as well, and here the key was and is to break the recent October resistance at 2.7 pence on an end of day close basis. Above that, looking for 3.5 pence, which is the top of that rising trend channel base that's been in place for the best part of the year. We're helped by the way that we've got what I call a V-shaped bull flag. We had an unfilled gap to the upside on the 6th of November, and we've got a rising 50-day line. So this looks as though it's on its way, especially after Friday's very strong candle with the shares opening at the low and closing at the high. New way of looking at global petroleum, because we've hit all the previous targets before and the chart got rather messy, but we've broken that line of resistance there from October. The level in question around 0.21, so we want to see extended price action above that, and that could maybe take us up towards the 0.3 pence level by the end of this month. Ideally, there's no end of day close back below the sharply rising 50-day moving average at 0.18. I've been trying to avoid looking at Great Western Mining of late, but it looks as though it's difficult to resist it now. The reason for avoiding it is because it's got those 0.00 type numbers there, which are very irritating. But we've broken the falling wedge there from June, and we've broken a line of resistance there at 0.027. Above 27, we're looking for at the top of the falling trend channel there at 38 by the end of this month. First time we've broken the 50-day line since the beginning of September. Obviously, don't want to see any price action back below that line at 27 now. On to Jubilee Metals, which is rising by the day, actually. So on to this yesterday and also obviously today. The top of the triangle there at 6.3 pence, that's the initial target. Above that, looking for greater glories, and probably as much as maybe 8 pence by the end of next month, or end of December, if we can have a quick break off the 6.3 pence level and obviously take out the 200-day moving average. We're backed by bullish divergence as well, and ideally we stay above the on the right side of 5 pence resistance on the way down in the meantime. So return of Jersey Oil and Gas, and here bouncing off a hitherto falling 50-day line, but that's now rising. So we're rising there at 16.75 pence. Above that, we're looking for at least 85 pence, maybe as soon as the end of this month. Nice candles there over the last week, and a nice RSI rebound off neutral 50, which tends to be a decent indicator on the upside. If you're thinking about what stock would have the best exposure to Bitcoin, it looks as though by a mile it's KR1. It was surprising that the shares are so low last week, but unfilled gap to the upside, which we covered through 55 pence, and our initial target there at 73 pence hit. Who else does that? Next target is up to as high as £1.26, and the upper parallel of that red resistance line, we're looking for that well before the end of this year, so getting quite excited there about that one. Upside value while we're above that 74 pence level. Moving on to Kazera, which also has a chart which seems pretty decent. Here you can see that we've got a very sharply rising trend channel there from June, top of the channel there at 1.8 pence, looking for that by the end of the year. Especially while we remain above the floor of the channel there at 1.1 pence. Got that great step progression there, looking for the next level, a next breakthrough, 1.3 pence to give us 1.8, as I said, over the near term. On to Pantheon, which is always talking about billions of barrels, and it looks as though now it might actually be getting closer to that that dream rather. Here we've had the first target hit, that was the black line there, around 22 pence. The next target, a rather modest 26 pence, and now we can look forward to a third target, which would be the line I'm drawing at the moment, as high as 42 pence by the end of this year. Beautiful U-shaped turnaround there and an easy break of the 200-day line today at 24. That could be a decent near-term stop loss for those who are holding. Moving on to Pensana, which is also pushing up nicely at the moment. Here you can see that we've had a key reversal to the upside, breaking that old September resistance there at 26 pence. End of day closes above that. We're looking for 34 pence by the end of this month. It's a bear trap island reversal as well, off a sharply rising 50-day line. So lots of nice things going on there at Pensana. The only thing missing perhaps is that the 200-day line, currently at 22 pence, should start rising, which I'm sure it will during the week. Moving on to the last three. The first one is quantum blockchain, which I looked at quite recently. Here we've hit our initial target there again at this is now at 0.83. I'm looking for up to 1.05 by the end of this month, the upper parallel of that rising trend channel base. Nice sideways shuffle above a rising 50-day line as well to keep us contented. Didn't want to look at Touchstone, but couldn't help myself with the unfilled gap to the upside, bull flag there, breakout, and above the 36 pence level, looking for up to 42 pence well before the end of this month, even though we've got to get through that 200-day line at 37 pence, but with the gap higher and the rising 50-day line and the second gap higher, in fact, this month, it looks as though Touchstone is finally on its way and will go up and stay up. Stock which we're hoping will go up and stay up is YouGov. We looked at this at the end of last week, and we've got this beautiful U-shaped bull flag, as I call it. We're looking for an end of day close through £5.08, which hopefully we'll get, but a rising 50-day line, and we're looking for the top of that broadening triangle from the beginning of August there at £6.30 by the end of next month, or even sooner. Ideally, it would happen by the end of this month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.